Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome back, those who are following this mammoth marathon of sparkling wines today. And welcome if you're watching the replay sometime in the future. Now, we couldn't do a sparkling wine week without bringing up the topic of champagne, and so this session is titled Champagne Popping Out of COVID-19. Aptly named. Before we start, just say hello to Lisa from New York. We've got Magna from Poland, Gertrude from Belgium, Robin, Las Vegas. Robin, that be kindly wrote us an article about the online events. Thank you, Robin. We've got Luca from Italy. We've got Carrie from Surrey. Back again. Welcome back. Jessica also back. Got a publication on sparkling wines. We've got somebody, Nelson from Brazil, and Titi from Finland. So welcome everybody. Welcome. A very international flavour to the this session. Well, you found the chat quick, so do post any questions there or any comments. If there's a question, just mark it like this with a red next to Titi. I just put the Q into red so we know it's a question. And just comment, nothing to do. So we're delighted to have Liz Palmer here with us. Welcome, Liz.
Hi, everybody.
Where are you in the world today?
I'm in Canada, Northern Ontario, Mono Mills right now. I live downtown Toronto, but we're getting our condo renovated, so I'm out for a few weeks and with family.
So actually, happy Canada Day. It's,
oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. That's right.
We normally have a lot of Canadians, and I haven't seen any Canadians in today, so they're probably on holiday. So they're probably going to be watching the replay.
Yeah.
So if you are from Canada, do say hello, so we know that somebody's working on it.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're delighted to have Liz. She's a well-respected, award-winning author and wine journalist since 2004, and has an international reputation as a critic and judge. Liz has had the pleasure of interviewing and tasting some of the industry's leading, meeting some of the, and tasting their wines, the industry's leading winemakers, professors, and personalities. And she's with us here at Sparkling Wine Week by Wine Pleasures on topic of champagne popping out of the COVID-19. So Liz, over to you. I believe you have a presentation for us, which we can get at the end of the session, if you stay with us. If you don't stay with us, you won't be able to get it. So just stay with us, and of course, keep those questions coming in.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, my dog's at the door. Welcome, everybody. 1 second. Oh, wait, come on. Close the door.
Well, I'll just bring up your presentation while we get the dog. There we go. Okay.
Okay. Welcome, Sparkling Wine Week, July 1st, Session 3, Champagne Popping Out of COVID-19. Remember, only sparkling wine from the Champagne region of France can be called champagne. A lot of people don't know this, aren't familiar with this, but this is really important. So here's a little bit, we'll do a quick overview of the region and where Champagne is located amongst the other wine regions in France. Here's the map. The Champagne region is located in the northeastern part of France, about 1.5 hours from Paris by car or 45 minutes by TGV, high-speed train. I've taken it many times and it's very convenient. If you take a look there, you can see where it is by Loire Valley, Burgundy, Bordeaux, Cognac, the Rhone, Provence, all those. So the districts, the viniculture boundaries of Champagne are legally defined and split into 5 wine-producing districts: Aube, Côte de Blanc, Côte de Chazanne, Mont de Reims, and Vallée de la Marne. The towns of Reims and Épernay are the commercial centers of the area. Reims is famous for its cathedral, as you know, the Notre Dame de Reims. It's previously used for the coronation of the French kings and the UNESCO World Heritage Site. 3 grape varieties are mainly used are Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Pinot Meunier. Other approved varieties include Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris, Arbane, Petit Mesleur. These last group are less than 0.3% of the plantings. 26% of the vineyards in Champagne are planted with Chardonnay, to let you know, and they perform best on Côte de Blanc and the chalky slopes of Epernay. Chardonnay produces lighter, fresh wines and gives finesse, fruit, and elegance to the final blend. It's the sole grape used in Blanc de Blanc, in case you weren't familiar with that. Pinot Noir accounts for nearly 40% of the plantings in Champagne and lies in the heart of most blends. It gives Chardonnay its body, structure, strength, and grip, and is planted across Champagne.
So this seems to have left us for a moment with the map. So hopefully she'll connect back up in a moment. So of course Champagne is here, and that is here. So as she was saying, it's easy to get to. It's about 30 or 45 minutes to get from Paris with the TGV to Rennes. So I've got pronunciation. Forgive my pronunciation. Well, we have to wait for Liz, I'm afraid. So do bear with us. Hopefully she'll connect back. Okay, well, we seem to have lost Liz. We no idea what's happened. Maybe our internet suddenly crashed and is not able to reconnect. So we can hold on and see if we get her back, or I can offer to give a presentation on cava, which is made exactly the same way as champagne, but I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to pick up where Liz has picked off. So just the message there. Yeah, hang in there. So two options. One, we can wait, and we may or may not get Liz back, so whatever technical problems she may have. Or two, we can I can give you a presentation on top tier cavas for 2020. So all vote now. Shall we wait, or would you like a presentation on cava? Okay, all vote now by putting something on the chat and just say wait or cava. Yeah, we can do cava, and we can give you the handout at the end of the session on champagne. Okay, let's give me a second. So luckily I had this ready just in case. So just to quickly put in a picture, we organize Wine Pleasures. We organize a competition each year for cava. In fact, it's the only competition for the cava, the sparkling wine produced under the designation of origin DO cava. This now in its 10th year, so it's been around a while, and it's well respected by wine importers around the world, particularly in countries like Japan, who are looking out for scores, and Canada and tender markets also seek them out once the scores come out. So it's what it is in the title, 50 great cavas. So of all the cavas that were entered into the competition, the 50 best scored cavas are included in amongst the 50 great cavas, in this case for 2020. So if you're interested in cava and you don't know where to begin, you've just heard of the big mass producers that there are, then this is probably a good place to start to contact producers to find out, and some extraordinary prices, as you'll see, for the product that it is. So let's just clarify that cava is a designation of origin that is not restricted geographically. So you can get cava here in the Penedès. Well, taken the whole of Catalonia there, but anyway, where those green bits are, there's mostly the Penedès. That's like 95% or so of the total production of cava. But then you've got you know, up in the Basque Country, in Álava, Rioja, Alavesa, you've got permission to have cava. Down here somewhere, Extremadura, Badajoz. Of course, you've got cava from Valencia, Requena, and you can get in Navarra and in the province of Zaragoza, Calatayud. So it's a bit of a strange one. I think there's only one other designation of oranges, not limited geographically. I believe that's in South Africa. Perhaps somebody could correct me on that. So the cava is, you know, it's not restricted geographically, and therefore you've got, you know, cava from Extremadura may not be using the 3 typical varieties that are used in the Penedès. So you get different blends and different ranges of cava. Okay, and the cava, let's just clear that. Just a second. Let's put myself over here. clear that out there. So the cava, I think if those of you who watched the Spanish Wine Day earlier this month, we had a talk on cava. They're basically three classifications according to aging. So you've got this one here, which is young cava, 9 months cava. It's called, I didn't know it was called traditional cava, but that's new to me. So it's called traditional cava. Then you've got Reserva cava, which is 15 to 30 months aging on the lees. Then you've got the Grand Reserva, which is 30 plus months on aging. And then there's new one that we were talking about, cava de paraje, state cava, but an estate limited in size. It must be no greater than a specific size. A plot of land limited in size with certain characteristics can be called cava de paraje, and there the aging is 36 months minimum. Of course, there are many cavas that are, as we'll see, aged for much longer than that, those minimums. So those are the what Reserva, Grand Reserva, and cava de paraje mean, if you can pronounce it. So in the competition, we have some gold medal winners. That's producers with more than 95 points, and you can't see them sadly. I was not prepared for this, but this producer actually called Roger Goulard. Let me go to the chat. There we go, Roger Goulard. It's a producer in the Penedès wine region. This is the gold medal winner with, I can't actually see it myself, 24 months Brut Nature Reserva. So that's one to look out for from Roger Goulard. This one is from a producer you've not probably heard of, Gianni Santacana. It's very competitively priced cava. Probably never heard of it, but it's actually one of the 50 great cavas and got a gold medal. And just look at the retail price, $6.25. So if you are interested in quality cava and a Brut Nature Reserva, they do have a Brut version. Definitely one to contact. So that's Gianni Santacana. I'll also make this presentation available at the end of the session. Liz, who may be watching somehow. If you are watching, just try and connect back. So next one, producer, been around for over 100 years, one of the pioneers, very popular in the 1920s in Barcelona. It's the Rovellats. It's probably the most beautiful estate to visit in terms of wine tourism. If you are in the Penedès wine region, do try and get a visit. It's just fantastic. It's really probably the best winery visit in the whole of Catalonia, and better than Cordignou. And Cordignou is extraordinary, but I see Liz has come back.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what happened. I didn't click anything. Seriously.
Okay, let's get back to, I was just talking about quality top tier cava. Let's get back to your session. Okay. Let's have a look. Let me just take my slides off, and we can put.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Do you know where I'm left off?
Yes, I can probably find the photo. So you need to switch your video camera on, and I'll start the.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
So you're on you're on this map. I was.
Well, that's way at the beginning.
Okay, but the next slide was coronavirus, but we were still talking, and this map was on. Okay. So we've got just about 5 minutes before we have to wind up the session. So if you could fly through it, it'd be much appreciated.
Okay. Okay. 5 minutes. Okay. So we'll skip the overview of the region then. Okay. I apologize. I don't know what happened. The champagne shipments, the latest champagne figures are attached. They're as of April 20th. It's too early to tell the effects since 50% of the shipments occur between September to December. The next figures are expected to be announced around July 10th to 15th, so watch for this. They're usually published in French. If you need me to send you a copy, I can get them for you. Going back to 2019, champagne reached its highest ever turnover, breaking 5 billion mark for the first time in history, while the start of the year was also very strong in terms of sales of the sparkling wine. Beginning of 2020 was good in terms of consumption, and now it's a different story. The coronavirus hit large parts of Europe within 3 months around the world were canceled. Events, bars, restaurants were closed, and it's come by little surprise that champagne sales would be seriously affected, especially the nations worst hit by the pandemic. Some are the champagne's biggest markets, which are Italy and Spain, as well, largest of all, France. On a whole, the champagne immediately reacted to the WHO. From when the WHO declared a global health issue of the pandemic on January 20th, 20. France first announced their first corona death in Europe, February 14th, 2020. What initial steps did they take? They adapted the safety measures in the vineyards and cellars immediately and made the continuation of the work possible. They established guidelines for mating confusion, which is usually done by hand in large groups and usually the whole village at once. The mating confusion kept being postponed a few times, eventually suspended, and did not take place in any of the villages this year. Typically, the growers would rather take the risk to lose a percentage of the grapes to the insects rather than give up on the biocontrol. Note that Champagne is a leading European country in terms of surface when it comes to mating confusion, and half of the services are under mating confusion. During this time also, the Comité Champagne reminded the growers and houses of the strategic orientations of the regions, growth in value rather than volume. During the crisis, the Champagne region interacted with the French government to ensure economics were in place to support the domains and wineries. I don't have the full details on that. I just know that they moved forward quickly on that. The presidents and executive board and members of the House have clearly communicated that Champagne expects to fall shipments by 100 million bottles, which is minus 30 to 35% over the year, resulting in a loss of over 1.7 billion. During the months of April and May, Champagne has managed to establish an adaptation of the collective system, which is aiming at ensuring the survival of the houses and companies, such as the 2020 harvest this year will be bottled in two parts. The first part, as usual, January 1st, 2021. The second part we bottled January 1st, 2022, ensuring that there's a reasonable level of production in 2020 in order to sustain the domains and all the players who depend on selling the grapes. This avoids providing the markets with too much wine. Currently, I believe there's 4 years of shipments in stock, or 1.35 billion bottles. The French government has solicited to reinforce the Ilot-Gelem law, or E-Gelem law, in the French off-trade because it has in the past positive effects of the champagne market overall by eliminating extreme discounts. What they've done this year to set promotions is 1 bottle offered for 3 purchase, as opposed to previously buy 1, get 1 free. In long form, this law represents the balance of trade relations in the agricultural and food sector and the healthy, sustainable, and accessible food for all. Also, the Champagne region increased their digital activities. The growers' houses and the Comité Champagne have all changed the way they communicate, including increasing their social media activities and online activities. They recently launched the Champagne education platform, MOOC, It's www.champagne-mooc.com. There's a classic version, which is free, premium version, which is the same as the free version, but there's extra videos, and you get an official statement when you complete. It's 49 euros. Strategy post-COVID. This came from the CIBC, the governing body. This statement, the main driver to build is wanting people to have a desire for Champagne, is to collectively build the visibility of Champagne, a region that invested in eco-friendly production management. This is the number one for consumers between the ages of 25 to 35 years in many key markets. Champagne is the drink for celebration and special moments, and also the drink to make moments special. Champagne as a treatment during hard times, a break within the rush, and a comforting drink for some. As cellar master Jean-Baptiste Lecrayon states, we make something which is not essential, but at the same time, it is essential for pleasure and bringing people together. We make a wine for celebration, so we decided that in difficult times, it is also important to do what we do and try to make it even better wine for the future. Some brands also in the region have organized charities to support medical teams, which is really good. It's especially the Union of Growers. They worked on some initiatives there. The environmental effort, which was really big for the region, they've been working on for the past 20 years, and I previously mentioned, their objectives have set for 2025, 2030, 2050. These are all long-term. The harvest this year is going to be an extreme challenge because at least 50% are coming of the staff is coming from Eastern Europe. It's going to be a challenge to determine when and how they're going to travel to France, how to implement the social distancing, and they're all looking at the harvest this year for the end of August. This is a mutual and collective task and cause incredible logistic challenges, transportation also, and meals. Champagne tourism, which is exciting. It's starting. They've also adapted to the government guidelines to reopen, and the sites have just started to open slowly. France is Europe's most visited country, making tourism a key pillar of the economy. Experts said it's too early to evaluate the full effect of the COVID crisis, but European Commission is already calling for a new Marshall Plan using EU funds to save the tourism industry. Let's all watch out for that. It's going to be good. Once the lockdowns are fully over and the plans and vaccines are in place, we all want to celebrate with champagne, of course.
Okay, there's a question from Gary, a specific one about Jérémie El Perrier, Brut Premier, likely to be 2009 or 2010. Should we drink now or continue to lay down? When is it best?
I would continue to lay down. Yeah.
And when's best to open?
Jeroboam. Ola Pierre. Oh, okay. I would keep it for another 5-10 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I just opened the question. Yeah.
Okay. So, what happened? Just connection went down. Did it earlier?
I didn't touch anything. I don't know. Are we off now? Offline?
No, we're live still.
Okay. I didn't touch anything. I don't know what happened.
Okay. One question is because I was talking about cava, and there's somebody saying that a cava producer is made the same way as champagne.
Yeah.
It would be unheard of to leave a cava in once degorged for a length of time because it would simply become more and more oxidized. So what the question is, why is it that champagne is people buy champagne and leave it to age in the bottle when it's actually supposedly losing properties? Is there an answer to that?
Well, it's in cellars, deep down under in top cellars, and it's in cork, of course. It's breathing, and it's left. I don't know, can't remember the temperature, but it's in very deep, dark cellars, so there's no light, and I think that's going to be a huge impact on.
Sorry, no, I didn't explain very well. It's actually once it's on the shelf that people buy the bottle, they're already degorged, and they keep it for a number of years if it's champagne. But if you did that to a bottle of cava, and the cava producer would be horrified that somebody would do that. So why? And typically it's Americans that seem to do this. I'm reading the question here. It's not me. What's your? Is that what it is? Does champagne get better with time? I mean, once it's degorged.
Yes, once it gets degorged, it gets better with time. It's how you store it as well, and how the process is made. And it's all based on the grapes too, going into the bottle and the age of the grape. I don't see the question here. Yeah.
No, it was in as a private one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Maybe the dog bit the cable for the internet connection.
He wants my attention.
Okay, so we're going to put up the file for people to take away. There it is. If you want to download the speaker notes, this is speaker notes. You're welcome to do so.
And if anyone has any questions on what's going forward in the champagne, please reach out to me. I'm on top with the communications director and some of the executives, so I can give you some more feedback. And
also on the PDF handout, you have Liz's email, I believe, so you can contact her directly about anything on the champagne.
Thank you, Robin. Terry.
Okay, so no questions. And as people just saying, great, thanks. Thank you for everybody for attending. And so we have to get ready for our next session, which we're going to post up the link now, which is live interviews with a couple of champagne producers. So that should be interesting.
Yeah.
And just say thank you, Liz, and we hope to welcome you back on the program in the future.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so like I said, it's next up is live interviews at 1:15 now. It's 4 o'clock in Spain local time. There is a link on the website. You can click on that and find out what time it is where you are, what time 4 o'clock. 4:15, as it will be the next session, is where you are. Sorry to ramble.
Okay. I just have to, yeah. Should I stay on this line if I want to listen to it, or?
No, you have to. You also have to click on the link as well as an.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, then if you stay in here, you won't see anything.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so everybody, see you on the next session if you're able to attend. That's live interviews with champagne producers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.